in 2020, competitive Call of Duty has had its ups.
Get a touch or will it in here? Nobody's going to get close enough. It's Chicago. Come in and dominate.
It's down.
As good as we thought Huntsmen were, Subliners come in here and just dominate this final.
Its triumphs and its heartbreaks. In this series, we take you through all of those for each team, along with the road that lies ahead in preparation for Call of Duty Champs. Welcome to the journey.
Down. He's able to get another kill, but it looks still to the spawn. It looks pretty darn close, but now that's the big thing, though. Even if you don't have the spawn going, look how difficult this is. And that's 5 minutes.
Has his name to restore a little bit of utility, but this is exactly what you can't give up, and somehow Envoy stuck through, or has he? He has. Zed will fall, and that is a massive hole in Paris Legion's armor. I can't believe it. Envoy with 3 this round. He just walks right through. So patient. His timing, his understanding of when to push is absolutely incredible. There's 4 in the round. Can he find an ace? The man deserves it. Should try and feed it to him as Luca gets 2. There it is. Envoy with 5 in round 10. That is a complete and utter takeover from one player.
They're able to find Arcides, but now it's all down to Gumless. He only needs to get a killer.
Kill it up! He couldn't quite finish it. Did he hop off it? He did hop off it for a second, though. He's right back on it. Get up there. Go. He's got to go. He gets one. Can he get there in time? Can he get there in time? I think he got it. Oh, he got the kill. I thought the defuse was in. He got the kill. Are you kidding me? What a play from Gunless.
Hello, competitive Call of Duty fans. I am your host, Icon. Welcome in episode of The Journey. In this episode, we take you back through what our teams have done over the course of the last 7 or 8 months. We look ahead to the bracket moving forward, and I give you the keys to victory for each and every team in the Call of Duty League as we get set for Call of Duty Champs 2020. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, let's hop into our first topic today, which is basically going to be a recap of how the Chicago Huntsmen got to the 4 seed, which they are at today. So, if we take a peek at this graphic, they currently are the number 4 seed. They have 230 CDL points, which puts them just underneath the Florida Mutineers with an overall match record of 20-12. I will say as of late that a lot of these wins came prior to the meta change that we just recently experienced. Since the meta, they are only 5-5 in their last 10 matches, so that's something to think about moving forward. But also included in that, if you look at how they've performed in Hardpoint, Search, and Dom, these were actually much better only about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Even with the recent struggles as of late, which aren't terrible, it's not like they're 3-6 over their last 9 matches or something. They are 5-5, but they're still the number 1 hardpoint team in the game with 34 wins and 17 losses overall. When it comes to Search, they are number 2, statistically only behind the Atlanta FaZe at 23 wins and 15 losses. And when it comes to Dom, they are 18-12, which puts them in that 3rd place. Moving on, just to kind of give you guys an idea of how they have placed as of late, the very first online tournament was CDL London. That was right after the Minnesota launch weekend. That was the event that they actually won. Then from then, you can see that they were super consistent. So at CDL Atlanta, they placed 3rd, 4th, and basically that just means that they lost in the semifinals. At CDL Dallas, they placed 3rd, 4th. Chicago, they placed 3rd, 4th, and then they won CDL Seattle. So for the first 5 events that they were in, they made it to Championship Sunday in every one of those tournaments. They were a mainstay, just as the Atlanta FaZe were going into Championship Sunday. As of late, which this is basically post the new meta change, you can see that at Minnesota, they placed 5th, 6th, which means that they made it into the losers bracket finals of group play, but failed to move on from there into Championship Sunday. As CDL New York, they got absolutely blasted by New York, who went on to win that event, so they did play second. And then at Toronto, same thing. They lost in the losers bracket final. This is the last time that we saw them, and even though most of those matches were super close, they did get 5th, 6th. They got beat by OGLA and failed to make it to Championship Sunday. So this is how the Chicago Huntsmen got to where they are today. Next on our list of topics is their path through Call of Duty Champs. If we go ahead and we look at the bracket in front of us, you can see that that number 4 seed has earned them the right to winners round 2. So basically what that means is on Wednesday, August 19th, the seeds that are 9 through 12 are going to play in the first round of our losers bracket tournament. Those seeds, if they end up losing, they are out. So they are immediately from day one fighting for their lives. As you move on from there, seeds 5 through 8, which would be New York, Minnesota, London, and Toronto, they are in winners bracket round 1, which is on Thursday, August 20th. You can see as you move over to winners round 2, Chicago is on the top, which means they're going to end up playing the winner of the New York Subliners and the Minnesota Rocker. So as we go ahead and look at this graphic here, you can see that over the course of the entire year, the Chicago Huntsmen are 3-2 match record against the New York Subliners. Some of these did happen at the beginning of the year. Again, at the beginning of the year, New York wasn't quite performing the way that they are now. They made the roster change. Matt came along and they've been playing a lot better as of late. But across the board, these records here are super close. When it comes to hardpoint, Chicago has the edge 5-4. Same as in S&D, Chicago has the edge 4-3. But in terms of the domination maps that these two teams have played, New York actually has the lead here 3-2, or Chicago is under 500 with 2 wins and 3 losses against New York in domination. If we go ahead and take a peek at the other team that they could possibly play, the Minnesota Rocker, you could see that if you are a fan of Chicago or in that Chicago camp, this is the more favorable matchup, right? They have met up 3 times, and essentially they've only lost 1 hardpoint match. So they're 3-1 in hardpoint. They did lose a St. Petrograd by quite a bit, but that was a couple months ago. But other than that, 3-1 in hardpoint, 3-0 in search and destroy, and 3-0 in dom. So if you are Chicago and you could handpick your matchup, you would probably prefer to play the Minnesota Rocker at this point in time. But I will keep in mind that this is almost a month away. So can Minnesota return to the form that they had at the beginning of the year? Will New York stay where they're at? Will they take a step back? It doesn't appear so, but all of those things come into play when you're thinking about a matchup that's not for another 3 or 4 weeks. If we do go back to the path through champs, you can see if Chicago wins that matchup, then that would set a date for Saturday, August 22nd with the Atlanta FaZe. And as daunting as that matchup seems, if we were to look at the head-to-head stats, remember, it took us almost the entire year for Chicago to match up with Atlanta. When they did finally get matched up here, they ended up winning that one in a quick 3-0, which is why they have a match record of 1-0, a hardpoint record of 1-0, an S&D record of 1-0, and a dom record of 1-0. Now, Atlanta is coming off some super impressive performances at CDL Toronto. They didn't end up beating Toronto, but they looked really good in some of the top teams that they played at that event. So this would be a matchup for the ages. So that is Chicago's path through champs. The last thing that I wanted to give you guys is what I feel is Chicago's keys to victory. If I were to look back from the beginning of the year and post the new meta change, there are a few things that I think Chicago really has to focus on in order to get a victory at Call of Duty Champs. So if we go ahead and we look at those keys to victory, I think the first and most important thing is that assault rifle duo of Arcitys and Formal must be absolutely dominant. In most of their matchups as of late, Scump and Envoy haven't been performing quite as well as they did before the meta change, but since we have went to a slower pace across the front for all game types in the league, Arcitys and Formal have to play as that top duo in the Call of Duty League. There is absolutely some stiff competition in their way. If they end up matching up against the New York Subliners, Temp has been on an absolute tear with that AR. So has Mac Melts since he has switched over. Then if you move forward and you do get to play against the Atlanta FaZe, we all know what they bring to the table. Major Maniac has been that steady, that consistency the entire year from the AR position. Priesta has moved back and he's been playing super fast at that position. We all know what Celdium can do also. So in order for Chicago to really make their way through Call of Duty Champs, those two AR duos of Arcides and Formal have to be playing at their absolute best. Moving on to the map vetoes, there are some maps that Chicago is really good at. You would absolutely say that they are the best team in the game at certain maps. So first ones that we'll talk about is when it comes to Hardpoint on Azir Cave, they are almost unbeatable. If you're playing a team that's super fast like the Atlanta FaZe or even the New York Subliners, you would want to play them in those maps that are a little bit more wide open, such as Azir Cave. 8-1 map record on Azir Cave Hardpoint throughout the entire year, and also on Ramaza Hardpoint, they are 7-2. If you can avoid the Gunrunner, if you can avoid the Hackney Yards, that is best suited for Chicago as they go into those matchups into Cod Champs. Just as is the case that there are maps that they're really good at, there are also some that they're not the best at. So if they can avoid, we mentioned Gunrunner Hardpoint, that is a map that Atlanta is super good on, so you'd want to avoid that if at all possible. Also Gunrunner Search and Destroy, I know it's not listed here, but Atlanta is the best team in the Call of Duty League at Gunrunner Search and Destroy, so you need to avoid Gunrunner at all costs, and also Ramaza Search and Destroy. This is one of the only maps and modes that Chicago is negative on throughout the course of the entire year. So if you can avoid Ramaza Search and Destroy, that really is an Achilles heel for the Chicago Huntsmen. The third key to victory that I have listed down below is that Envoy must play like the MVP candidate that he is. If Scump comes out against New York or Minnesota in that first round matchup and has like a 0.8 or a 0.85, they can still be okay as long as Envoy is playing well. If Envoy comes out and he drops a 0.85, it is really hard for Chicago to be dominant if he's not playing like the superstar that he is. The success of the Chicago Huntsmen at times really does rely upon how good is Envoy playing and how good is Arcides playing. Envoy has to have a great tournament. If he's subpar, look for Chicago to have an early exit from Call of Duty Champs. And last but not least, there's a lot also relying on the shoulders of Pristini, being that entrance man at times when he's running an SMG and being that flexed third AR on the bigger maps where they need a third AR. There is a ton relying on his play style. So I know it says that he only needs to be around a 0.9, but that's okay, right? If Arcides and Formal and Envoy and Scump are all playing well right around 1.0 or 1.1, it's okay for Pristini to be a little bit under 1.0, but he absolutely cannot put up a 0.6 or a 0.7 or a 0.75 or anything in that range. He does have to be consistent. He has to get in a ton of engagements, similarly to how Abizi does, and the more engagements that he wins, the more that he gets into, that is taking the pressure off the hill, off those main SMG slayers, and there's a lot that relies on Pristini's success in each and every map. But with that, that is our look ahead into the journey for the Chicago Huntsmen. Down in the comments below, which team do you want me to focus on next? Whichever one you want to see, put it down below. If you're new around here, I am your one-stop shop, getting you prepared for Call of Duty Champs 2020. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and with that, guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the future episodes of The Journey.